guest star today, Gabe Ostley. Did I pronounce that right? Gabe Ostley?
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Awesome,
Some
awesome.
people say the T, some people keep it silent. I never really heard the official thing, so you can
Cool,
say it either
cool.
way, Ostley or
Um,
Ostley. Yeah.
so you've watched some of the other interviews, so you know
Mhm.
what's coming, right? The
Yes,
trivia.
the trivia.
uh,
I'm gonna win
so
it this
you can
time.
choose Star Wars or obsessed with Marvel.
I am gonna say obsessed with Marvel.
Oh, awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Are you a Marvel fan? Are you a DC guy? Are you
I
what's the
am.
deal there?
Dude, I like everything. When it comes to comic books, like, there's nothing off the table. I love it all.
Yeah,
I think the Marvel stuff, I'm getting more into that lately because I would say when I was younger, I kind of skipped over a lot of the Jack Kirby stuff and everything.
yeah.
And then, probably in the last 5 years or so, I started to realize, like, oh, Jack Kirby's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
think a lot of people are
yeah.
like that. You get
Yep.
to a certain age and you just I don't know, see with different eyes or something. But let's
Yeah,
start
yeah,
up.
something clicked.
So
Yep.
you're going to get three questions from Obsessed with Marvel,
Mhm.
and we have this little
Okay.
box here that will tell us the page that we're going to be on. And when you get the answer right, it'll go ding ding ding, and when you get wrong, it does the horrible. So we're
Okay.
at 284.
And when I win, what do I get when I win? Is it like a new car or
A
something like that?
million
Or
dollar cash prize.
all right. Awesome. Eventually you're
Let's
gonna get
see.
like Vanna White or something to do all this stuff for you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. She's like 90 now, isn't she?
Well, yeah, but she still looks good. She's
Yeah,
still doing
yeah,
it, I think. Yeah.
yeah. I think of our generation, she's one of the blonde bombshells. All right.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Yeah.
what weapon did Abraxas intend to use to obliterate all realities? A, the cosmic cube. B, the evil eye. C, the ultimate nullifier. D, the infinity gauntlet.
Whoa. This is tough. So I know Abraxas. I've heard this name before. Can you explain who
Yeah.
Abraxas is? Do you know?
No, I can't.
You can.
These are all pretty
That's
pretty
fair.
hard questions.
Okay. Well,
I
hold on a
don't
second
know most of
because okay, you don't know most of them. Okay. So
them.
I know Abraxas is a really bad movie starring Jesse Ventura.
maybe
But
maybe
I
that's
don't I don't
maybe that's it.
I don't think it's
Um,
related to this, but
well,
yeah.
wait. It's an alien, right? Isn't Abraxas an alien
It sounds like an
in
alien. It
in the
should be an
movie?
alien. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
all right. So what's your answer?
I I think so the choice, I think A sounded pretty good when you said it.
The
Let's go with
cosmic
A.
cube.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
cosmic cube could definitely be it.
Mhm.
We don't know it's not the Infinity Gauntlet because Thanos.
Right.
Ultimate
Yep.
Nullifier, we know that. So I
Mhm.
think you might be right. Let's try A.
All right. Yeah, let's go for it.
It's actually
Oh,
C. The Ultimate Nullifier.
dang it.
I don't know about that.
I never even heard of that.
That's
Yeah.
what Reed.
Cosmic Cube sounds way cooler.
The Ultimate Nullifier is what Reed Richards used to drive Galactus away the first time he attacks the Earth. But then
Okay.
this Abraxas must have gotten a hold of it and been like, well, if you can do it, I can do it. All right,
Right.
three
Okay.
24.
All
When
right.
terrible
Fun.
what terrible accident befell the Black Panther's enemy Kyber the Cruel when he experimented with teleportation? A, I gotta be able to see it. Um, A, he was killed outright. B, half his body was teleported to different location. C, his body was fused to the floor. D, part of his body was disintegrated permanently.
Whoa.
Yeah, I have
Okay,
no idea.
so yeah, Black Panther is one I still have to kind of really check out too, because I know Kirby drew like the first, what was it, like 6 issues or something, or was it more than that?
I don't know, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it was very much. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
he did that
So
a
yeah,
lot. He
I
would
have
just
no
do like the
clue.
first few. Yeah. I'm gonna say I like what the he's like fused to the ground. Was that C?
Yeah. Yep.
That
That's
sounds
C.
cool.
All right, let's
That
do it.
should be the
Let's
right
see.
answer just because it sounds cool.
Ding ding
Yeah.
ding 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 ding. You heard it. You heard the ding ding
Yes.
ding. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
All right. One last one, page
I'm happy.
22
Okay,
or question 22.
let's go for 2 out of 3.
All right. Which heroine has not been a member of both the Fantastic Four and the Avengers? A. Crystal. B. Invisible Woman. C. She Thing. D. She Hulk.
Whoa. Well, she thing. Was there actually a she thing? That doesn't sound like a. I don't think that's a real character. Is it?
I have no
I never.
idea, but I think it
I
might
never saw
be.
she thing. Okay.
All right.
Well, I
So
know
you're
She
gonna
Hulk
say
is real. Well,
yeah,
Invisible Woman. She was definitely in the Fantastic Four. I know that
right,
much. Was she
right.
in the Avengers though? What was the
I
other
don't
choice?
know. She Hulk and Crystal from the
Crystal. Who's Crystal?
from the Inhumans, I think.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
think she's part of the Inhumans.
You don't know the answer to this?
I don't. I don't know the answers to most of these,
Okay. Can we
which
call?
makes
Can
me
we call someone?
which disgusts me because I'm like a huge Marvel fan. So
Right. I know
no,
they're
just
really tough. Can you imagine
yeah,
like a
they are.
10-year-old trying to do this or something? It'd be
I
really
know.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, maybe that's. I don't think they sold a lot of these because they're on eBay for like $5. So that's probably why.
The question should be more like, what character uses the powers of a spider? Okay, so I want to go with the Invisible Woman. I think.
All
I
right.
think
So
she got around.
B.
She got around. Yeah.
We're going B.
Yeah.
The answer was C. She Thing.
Dang. Every she thing is real. Wow.
She yeah. All right.
Okay.
So the next part of this little um get together that we have is we want
Yeah.
to learn a little bit about you. So what's
Yes.
your age and your location and all of that cool fun stuff?
All right. Well, right now I'm in Portland, Oregon, and it's very much on character. It's raining out and it's cold,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's beautiful, and I've got allergies, so that's fun too. But
Yeah, me too.
uh, yeah, we moved here, so I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. Where could we start, right? Because we were just talking. We can talk about a lot of stuff. I'm 48. I'm not quite 50 yet, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
hang on to
yeah.
the 40s as much as I can.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Once you hit 50, it's all downhill, just so as you know.
I've heard it's great. That's what I'm
Yeah,
hoping for.
well,
It's like everything's better. Your body
everything's
works
better.
better.
Everything's definitely not
Yeah.
better. Everything's definitely not better. It totally depends what everybody's,
Yeah.
where your life is
Yeah.
at that time,
Right.
It could
Yeah.
suck or it could be great.
Right.
So you're 40s, Portland. What about all
Mhm.
right, so the next question is what's
Mhm.
your favorite comic book of all time and who's your favorite artist of all time?
Man.
Now the
See,
comic
yeah.
book could be series or individual issue or anything like that.
Mhm.
Pretty open-ended.
All right. All right. Yeah. I know this is so I've seen a couple of your interviews and everybody's like, "Oh, and I knew this was coming too." Um, it's really the hardest question. One of the hardest questions. What is the meaning of life?
I guess
But
I
I
guess
think yeah.
it depends on your outlook and what kind of person you are.
Mhm.
Like I make
Yeah.
lists. Like I'm like my top
Mhm.
favorite bands, my top favorite
Oh, yeah, yeah.
artists, my top favorite. So I guess
Mhm.
it just depends.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you said like, who's your, top 500 artists, then I could give you that list easily. But for the best, my favorite, I'll say, let me just say this. I loved, what really got me into comics was the Ninja Turtles. Kevin
That's cool.
Eastman, Peter Laird,
Yep.
the original, black and white. I didn't have the original black and white issues, but I had the first publishing, graphic novels
Yep.
that they
Yep.
had
Yeah. Oh
painted.
yeah. Yep.
And those are still like one of my top favorites. Like, bury me with those comics. Like, I love them so much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah. They're awesome.
that was kind of my gateway into comics. I also, not really comics, but kind of related to Battlestar Barbarian. The first books I ever bought with my own money were the Frazetta covers, paperback, ace paperbacks of Conan.
Was
So,
was was
oh,
it just for the art?
Oh yeah, that originally it was because it was,
Right. Yeah.
it was just like The first, I think everybody knows that moment the first time they see a Frazetta painting, and
Well,
especially,
I think there's
yeah,
2 moments when you see
mm,
Frazetta. I think it's when you first see him and
mhm,
you're like, "Hey, that's really awesome." And then the
mhm,
second time, or at least this was for me. And then kind
mhm.
of as you see more Frazetta and you kind of delve into it, then you really kind of see Frazetta. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And you also kind of discover women too when you see Frazetta.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
definitely,
that's
definitely.
that was very exciting too. I think I was like 12 years old.
Yeah,
So and that kind of started too because there was 12 books in that series, and I think at that time it was like $1 to get one of the paperbacks.
right,
And they're all numbered. And so I got really into, like I would just try to get $1 here and there, and then I'd run to the bookstore and like, oh, I can get number 8 now.
right, right.
Um, and so that got me into collecting too. So then it was over after that. I was just like, I got to get everything of this artist. I've got to get everything of this
Right,
author
right,
and
right,
stuff
right.
like that.
So was that the Robert E. Howard stuff, or was that other authors?
Yeah. So it's controversial because they are the Robert E. Howard stuff, but there was two authors, Lynn Carter and the other guy, really hard name to pronounce, but it was like L. Sprague de Camp.
Sure. Yeah,
And
yeah,
those two guys took all the original pulp stories that Howard wrote, and then they kind of rewrote them, and like they kind of did like a special edition thing in the 60s,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so they would take some of his other stories too, some of his other characters, and then they would turn it into a Conan story. And then they put it all in a timeline too. So as a kid, it was really fun because you could read Conan's life chronologically.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the original Howard stories are not like that. He just released them all over the place.
Right, right, right.
So
So you hadn't
mhm.
read the comic books before that, before getting those books, or seeing the
No,
movie, obviously.
no, yeah. So this was probably like, I mean, this was a few years after the movie came out, but I don't think I
Yeah,
was really aware of the comics or the movies. It was those
right.
Frazetta books, and then it was like, my dad was like, "Hey, if you're going to read a book, you should read Lord of the Rings."
Yeah,
So,
right.
so I had to, so I had to read Lord of the Rings. He's like, "I'm not going to let you read Conan first. You have to read Lord of the Rings." Yeah. So I had to put Conan down and read Lord of the Rings. But then at that time too, then he was like, "Oh yeah, but there is a Conan movie." And then I watched that, and then I got into everything Arnold
Yeah,
Schwarzenegger I had to watch.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and then it was quite a while until I really found out, like, oh, this is based on a comic too. Like the movie really is kind of, it owes more to the comics, I think, than the books.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah, definitely. Well, it's
yeah,
isn't well, the second one is it written by Roy
yeah,
Thomas? I think.
yep, you're right.
The first
Yep,
one, I mean, it's Oliver Stone, you know,
yeah,
which is awesome. It's just an amazing little
yeah,
trivia fact, you know.
yeah.
So that's
Have
awesome.
you have you have you ever read the original script that Oliver Stone wrote?
No, no, is it different? Did they change it?
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's
I bet.
insane. It's actually one of my dreams someday to adapt that script into like a graphic novel or a comic book, because he wrote something like this. Was like, I think he wrote it originally like in the late 70s.
Yeah.
So he was in this like crazy, you know, I mean, it's Oliver Stone. So he was like, yeah, Conan is like doing genetic mutations, and there's
Yeah.
like these weird bat creatures, and like, he had like all of this. It almost reads like a drug acid fever dream or something.
You like all of his
And
movies
then
too, so,
yeah,
that makes
right.
sense.
Yep. But then John Milius took it, and then I think he just kind of reshaped it,
Yeah, yeah,
and
which is
made it
probably for
more
the
like the
best.
comics. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so. I think so. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So,
but it was,
you're
yeah.
the
Mhm.
you're the second half of, Battlestar Barbarian.
Yeah.
I didn't ask Stefan this. Who approached who in your guys' working relationship? Was like a lot of artists when they first get
Yeah.
together, they're kind of sheepish and they're like, "Hey, I
Mhm.
like that," kind of thing.
Right. Right, right. Yeah, no, it was fun. So Stefan was one of the first artists I think I started following on Instagram. and I got to Instagram. I guess now it's probably been about 10 years now. I think it was probably
Yeah.
2015 or 2016 or something
Wow.
when I finally joined Instagram, and everybody was like, if you're an artist, you got to use Instagram.
Yeah.
Um, and so he was one of the first guys on there. I was like, oh, this is cool. There's like comic book people on here. And I always loved his art, Stefan's art. It was just
It's
like
beautiful.
Frazetta, Bisley,
Yeah. Yeah.
Liefeld, McFarlane, like 90s fuel. Like it was just like all the stuff I love, So
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
away I just started following him and I'd be like, Stefan, this is awesome. And then I
Yeah.
would start posting my stuff, and then he was like, "Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool." And then slowly over time, we would just send each other things like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if da 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 like Conan had like a spaceship or something?" We would just
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
ideas back and forth, just like in chats. And
Right.
and slowly over time, then we started to talk more, and we were like, we should work on something together. And we just kept on, like, we would try little things. We did like a Lobo pinup during the COVID times.
That's cool. That's awesome.
And yeah, I should try to find it, but it was like Lobo with like a big like Pfizer gun, and
Oh
like all
yeah.
these people with it was really controversial, but so, and we were just like, we got to do a Lobo story, but we never got that off the ground. And then finally, it was just like one day we were just like, we should do something like Conan. And I was like, yeah, we both love Conan. We should do something with that. And then somehow we would send things to each other to make each other laugh too. And we're like, oh, let's do Conan in space.
Yeah.
And the whole thing just developed through messages trying to make each other laugh. That's how the
Right.
script was
Yeah.
written, basically.
Right. Right.
And then, yeah,
So did you guys talk on the phone when you were doing the scripting and the
no,
creative process or anything? No, just
no,
instant
because
messages?
yeah, yeah. Well, he was in Canada, and then
Yeah.
I got a job working at a school in China, so I was actually living in Shanghai at that time. And
Yeah.
so our time difference was like super crazy. It was like 14 hours difference or something. So um, there was only like a little window, for each of us, I think, when you could actually talk
Right.
live to each other.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely. What
um,
about your artistic schooling? Did you go to art school or anything like that?
yeah, yeah. So I heard, like, so you went to Kubert school, right?
Yep. Yeah. I went to 1 year
Yeah,
of Hubert's. Yep.
that's cool. So that was, well, you'd always see those ads in the comics, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
go to the Kubert school, and that was like a big dream of mine to go there. But as I got older, I realized, like, oh, there's other schools that are in warmer parts of the country. Because I
Yeah.
lived in
Yeah.
Minnesota. I just wanted to get out of cold weather, and
Yeah.
so Savannah, Georgia, sounded really good because it was in the South and it had beaches,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you could study comics there. So I started going to University of Minnesota just because I couldn't afford SCAD. I was just like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no way I can figure that out. Over time, I was at the university for about 2 years studying fine art, and I had a great professor there that he sat down with me one day, and he's like, I love all these comic stuff that you're doing, but he said, I don't know anything about comics. I'm a painter, and so I can't really teach you this. If you want to learn
Right.
more
Yeah.
about comics, you
Yeah.
should you should go to Minneapolis College of Art and Design. And at that point,
It
I was
really
just
is
like,
a different
yeah.
art form.
Yeah, for sure. And yep. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to go to if my teacher is telling me to go to Minneapolis College of Art and Design, I might as well just go to SCAD because it's the same price.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's better weather down there, and there's
Yeah.
beaches.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I packed up my car. It was probably just, shortly after that, I just packed up my car and just drove from Minnesota to Savannah. And I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't. I had just registered. I knew I was accepted, but I hadn't even registered for classes or anything either. But I
Right.
was just like, this is the time to go. I just got to go. So 26-hour drive, went to SCAD. I've got the student loans to prove it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
was that was
Definitely.
my schooling. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun
Uh,
though. It was really great. I was there for
so
about
they
2 years, 2.5 years.
They had a comic book program?
Yeah, so their program is really great actually. Like they had lots of guest artists and stuff coming, and I think Mark Schultz was teaching there right before I left. Lots of good like professionals were teaching there. Like John Lowe was another one. He's a pretty great
Right,
inker.
right,
Um,
right.
we had like
Did
Walt
you
Simonson would come and speak
Oh,
to us, and we had like Don Bluth,
yeah, that's
animator would
cool.
come, and like it was amazing. Yeah, so
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Walt Simonson is like my favorite artist of all time. So all right, so you didn't really say your favorite artist. Give me like
Mm.
five that are in
Well, okay,
your top
yeah.
10 or
So I
something.
yep. Yeah, so easily, so Eastman and Laird are up there.
Yeah.
We got Frazetta, Bisley, Jack Kirby. I love Frank Miller, of course, too. Frank Miller was a huge. I would
Yeah.
probably say
Yeah.
Frank Miller might be my favorite, just because I loved Sin City and Ronin and
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Everything
of
he
his
touched.
stuff in the 80s. Yep, yeah, it
His
was
stuff
really. I
now,
mean,
I don't know. He's gotten a little bit loopy, but what can you
yeah.
do?
Well, right, right, right. I think, yeah, it's hard to say, but the way that Frank Miller, I think, Dark Knight Returns, right? It's like that was such a
Classic.
huge moment because that's when people started taking comics seriously. There was
Yeah.
that in
Yeah.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Up until
Totally.
then, it was just like disposable. It was just, oh, that's for kids,
Yep.
and
Yep.
and suddenly it was like now it's literature. Now it's a medium, and it's
Yeah.
really
Yep.
thanks to him and Alan Moore too, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So
When I found out they were teaching Watchmen in college courses, I was like, I would
yeah.
tell everybody because my whole life I grew up just like you said. Comic books are
Hmm.
trash. They're not. And
Yep.
actually, when we were doing a stream, because it's still prevalent today, me and Joe were doing a stream, and somebody comes in and they're like, "What are you guys talking about? You're two grown men talking about comic books. Get a life or something
Right.
like that."
Right.
So
Right.
I'm still up in arms with anybody that doesn't take comic books as a serious art form, and I'm ready to throw
Definitely.
down with them.
Yep, yep. Well, thankfully, I mean, I think over time it has really gotten a lot more of a better reputation. And I mean, outside of
Yeah,
America, I mean, it's like it's legit. I mean, like you go like during my honeymoon, we went to Paris and we went to a bookstore there, and their comics are like hardcover, every single
yeah,
one of them, and
yeah, yeah,
they're on the shelves like, and they're like respected. It's like
yeah,
these are
yeah,
real. This is a real art form. Like. So
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
America's just got to catch up to that. It's like,
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
yeah,
So, you've done pretty well with the Battlestar Barbarian. A lot of people are ordering it from you and stuff, which is
yeah,
pretty cool.
yes, yeah. Thank you too. I mean, it's been a lot of thanks to you and people like you that are just like
Yeah,
sharing it, and
yeah,
um,
yeah, definitely,
yeah, it's
definitely.
been really really awesome. Yeah,
Um,
thank you, man.
so, you have some things in here that we talked about, like
Mhm.
swallow your soul from obviously
Yeah,
Evil Dead.
yeah.
Was is that a huge? Are you a huge Lovecraftian fan, and as well as
Yes.
you give the acknowledgement to Robert E. Howard, and
Yep.
so you must love them both.
Absolutely. Well, that's one thing we said in our chat, Alex, was we have to talk about Evil Dead 2.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, especially, I mean, that's my favorite of the trilogy. Army of Darkness is great too, but Evil Dead 2, I love that movie. It's so rewatchable, and it's so inspiring because it was like
it is.
such a low budget, but they just
Yeah,
made it work, and it's horror and it's comedy, and it's like
yeah,
I
yeah.
love I love that I love that contrast too. It's like there's few things that have been managed to do that so well.
Yep.
Um,
Whenever
but Evil
whenever
Dead
my
2 is
wife
it.
whenever my wife, and I see a bad movie, she compares it to
Mhm.
Evil Dead, and I'm like, "What are you
Mhm.
talking about? Evil Dead's like one of the
Right.
greatest movies." Because I made her watch it, and afterwards she's
Right.
like, "What? That was trash." And I just do not get it at all.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
that's just it's not for some
Yeah.
people, I guess. It
No.
baffles me, but
It's
that's what it
it
is.
is yeah, well, it's when you meet somebody that likes Evil Dead 2, you're like, "Okay, we can hang out, we can talk,"
Right,
because
yeah, yeah,
it's
definitely.
such a, I mean, it's Three Stooges, it's over the top gore, anything to be ridiculous. And that's kind of like what we did with Battlestar Barbarian too. You know, it was like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of it was that kind of mindset. It was like we just if the line is here, then go like 10 spaces above that. You know,
yeah, yeah, which
like
is really what
be
you need to do.
ridiculous, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What is the difference between Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2? I mean, I've seen them,
Yeah.
and I just I like 2 better, but
Yeah.
I don't understand
I
it.
I think Evil Dead 2 is basically a remake of the first one, right? But
Right, right.
the first one, I mean, there were some kind of funny moments, but I think they were trying much harder to do like a serious Lovecraftian horror movie.
Yeah,
And then when they got to the second one, they were just like, let's just be crazy. Let's just go wild. Let's have his
yeah.
hand come off and run around on the floor, you know. So
Which is
it's
awesome.
oh, I know, and the way he would, like, flip himself around and stuff,
Yeah, 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 oh,
it
what's
was
his name?
amazing.
Oh,
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, yeah, he just, beat
Yep.
cancer, I guess, which is fantastic
Yeah,
because
right.
he's one of the best actors of all time doing what
Absolutely.
he specifically does, you know?
Yep.
He's got I don't know what it is, it's not a
Mhm.
campiness, it's
No,
like not a straight up humor, it's
right.
I don't really know, I can't really put a category on what he kinda
I
does.
know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's almost like he's like an old-timey actor from the '40s or the '50s, and he's
Yeah,
somehow,
yeah,
like, just got transported to this time, and
yeah,
he doesn't re it's like he doesn't realize how hokey he is, you know? But in a
yeah,
good way,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so that had some influences on you. What were really
Mhm.
your biggest influences on, doing Battlestar Barbarian?
Um, well, when you were talking with Stefan, I mean, both of you guys were talking about the Biz, you know, Bisley.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think this would exist without both Stefan and I just loving Lobo and
yeah,
Bisley, everything
yeah,
Bisley did, you know. I would say like and Bisley did that too, I think, especially with Lobo. He had that kind of like grittiness, but then it was cartoony and silly too at
yeah,
the same time.
humor. Yeah, yeah. Joe
Yep.
and I just looked
So,
at, Lobo 1, I think it was, and they have
mhm.
the opera of and they're, like, massacring each
Yes,
other, they're, like,
with the
killing each other.
chainsaws and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
that
so
was one of the
awesome.
first comics I ever read too. I remember getting that at like a, you know, like a spinner rack at a grocery store or something. And that just blew my mind too. I was like, this is a comic book?
Yeah, 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 definitely. Were
So,
you a fan of
yeah.
heavy metal?
Yes, yeah. So, my dad was like a huge, you know, he still is a huge fantasy fan, and so
Yeah,
he would have Savage Sword of Conan around, and he would have, yeah, like tons of heavy metal. We used to go to like a great comic book store in Minnesota called Shinders, which I don't think is around anymore,
yeah,
but that was, you know, that was just full of that stuff, and that was when like comic book shops were just kind of like there weren't that many of them, you know, and it was like a baseball card store mostly, but then they would
yeah,
have
oh,
some
yeah,
comics in the back. Yep,
yeah, that's a
and
different
some
brand.
D&D figures. Yep.
Yeah,
And so I would love to just like go there and get the heavy metals and just page through them and stuff. And then also what was great about that store was they had like underneath all the new stuff, then they had like the shelf down below on the ground, and that was just full of like Mobius comics and things, and the metal hurlant, like, you know, the
yeah,
French version of heavy metal.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I would just eat that stuff up. And for some reason, I still don't know why, but for some reason, like all this Mobius stuff was just like marked down. It was like $3 or $2 for a
It
graphic
isn't
novel back in the
anymore.
day. Exactly.
Movies is, like, expensive stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know, it was just almost like they were just like, "Whoa, what is this European stuff? I don't think people are gonna get that," you know, and they just threw it in the bin down there, and that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
stuff I just, like, ate up, you know, so I would say I would add Mobius to my favorite comic artist
No,
too,
definitely,
like,
definitely, he's
that dude
awesome.
is just incredible, and, like, did you ever read, like, his little interview things that he would put in those epic graphic novels?
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Yep. I
and
remember
he would really,
one
yeah.
thing.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
remember one thing, I kind of live by this, which maybe I shouldn't,
mhm,
but I do,
mhm,
where he
mhm,
talked about how he would try different things, and he would try like a different type of drawing or painting or whatever, and he would try his hardest. And but if it didn't
mhm,
work, he would be like, okay, I tried, I'll move on to the
mhm,
next thing and try that. So
mhm,
that's really,
mhm.
one of the things I try
Yeah,
to live by.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And he also had like such a great philosophy of just like, if you need an idea, just go to the bookshelf and pull a random book off the shelf and page through it and point, at a paragraph. And that's the start of your story. Like he had like these very like, just like a fine artist kind of way of looking at the world. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and you remember his Silver Surfer?
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
It's so good.
Did you watch the YouTube video of him?
Well, which one was
Mobius?
it? Was it
I can't remember. It just came out like a couple weeks ago, but it
oh,
like
okay.
talks
I
about
haven't.
his life and stuff. Yeah, and how
Mhm.
he was like part of a cult and all of this weird
Mhm.
stuff about him. So it's definitely worth checking.
Awesome.
I'll try to find it for you and link you to it because
Yeah,
it's
I
really
would love to.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to check that because he had such a, he's really like a Salvador Dali or something, just like such
Oh
an
yeah.
interesting life, and he like didn't he live in the desert for a while or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and
Mexico or New Mexico or something. I think it
yep,
was Mexico.
yep. Yeah, and I always remember one thing he said too, which was I always thought was so cool was he said in the Silver Surfer he said I don't understand how you Americans can let another artist touch your page.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
because he
yeah,
was he was complaining about, like, how we have, pencilers and inkers and letterers,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and he did all the lettering for Silver Surfer, and it's actually kinda like it looks good, like, visually, it looks good, but it's kinda hard to read.
yeah. I know
But
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, yep.
Most artists don't like their own lettering.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
guys do this digitally? The lettering for this?
Yeah, so the lettering was the only time that Stefan and I had a fight during the entire process.
Oh no. I'm glad the band didn't break up. Thank God.
Yes, right. It was funny because, we had gone back and forth. I would send him pencils, and then he would ink stuff and send it back, and we
Yeah,
didn't even really start thinking about the lettering until it started getting close to the end. And then we were like, because it was just all, storyboarding basically,
yeah,
and then we're like, how are we going to letter this? And and I've done a lot like of my own books and stuff, and I use like a Blambot font, and so I was like, well, I can just do that, and then he was like, well, maybe we should do hand lettering, and I was just like, I can't do hand lettering. It doesn't look good.
yeah, yeah. Well,
And
it's all
mhm,
up to like almost like I said, almost every artist I know don't like their lettering. But if
mhm.
another person looks at it, they'll be like, I really love that lettering. That's awesome. So it's
Yeah.
so, up to
Mhm.
interpretation, I guess. Um,
Yep, yep. So
do
we
you work?
argued back and forth,
Oh
but
yeah.
finally we got it figured out. We finally got it figured out. Yeah. I'm not mad
you
anymore.
won the battle? Yeah, are there pages out
I
there
don't
that
know.
are hand lettered?
I don't know. No, that not really, but I we got through it. And
Yeah.
I still think so like like this page you're looking at now, like the speech bubbles are hand drawn with
Yep.
Procreate, right?
Yep.
But then the actual letters are a font.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think we can still play with it. I do understand, like I do after doing this kind of lettering stuff for a while, I really do respect people like letterers. I respect
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the profession of
Yeah.
letterer.
Yeah. They are unsung
So
heroes. Definitely. I
absolutely,
mean,
absolutely.
I have hand
It's so
lettering.
important.
My hand lettering is the
Mhm.
worst. I'll see if I have it here. Here's a
You
page
it's probably a case
where
of
I'm
but yeah,
do
see,
the hand lettering.
that's exactly what you said though. Like I think it looks good.
Yeah,
I'm like
right,
that
right.
it
But
fits.
I
It
hate it.
fits.
Yeah, yeah. So it is so up to interpretation. There's some things that I'm trying to do to change
Uh-huh.
it and stuff. But
Uh-huh.
hopefully I'll be able to figure some of this stuff out. Are
Which
you
what
a
is this?
dig?
What is it? Let's go back
This
to yours though.
is
I want to
my
see. Yeah.
you might actually enjoy this because you're a
Hmm.
Lovecraft fan and an
Yeah.
and a Robert E. Howard. So
Yeah.
in the old Dark Horse uh, Conan comics, did you ever get those?
Hmm.
They're not that old, but I guess they are kind of old.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Like the Carrie Nord ones.
yeah, yeah, I
The
think so. I
yeah.
think so.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in the back they would have a couple pages of um, Robert E. Howard and I think it was just Robert E. Howard doing his
Okay.
whatever he was doing. I don't know. They were funny little
Yeah.
weird
Yeah. Yeah.
cartoons.
It was like a Two Gun Bob or something like that. Is that
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I loved those.
Yep.
I thought they were fantastic
Yeah.
and wanted more.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so then I got this. Have you ever seen this? A Means to Freedom?
Oh yes, I've
It,
heard of this. So this is their letters
yeah,
back and forth,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
pretty dry, bad. You know,
Oh.
it's hard reading. It's not bad because it's just their letters, so they're not like, well,
Yeah.
some of it is their stories and stuff like that, but it's
Right.
not like, a real book or anything. It's just letters from
Sure.
each of
Sure.
them.
Sure. But you
So I
get
was
kind
like,
of an insight. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You get in
Hmm.
like, yeah,
Hmm.
because they would talk about the things they talk about are so um minute things. Like they would talk about police officers, and this is 38, 37, 38, or something.
Hmm.
So they're talking about,
Hmm.
street cops or whatever, and the
Hmm.
different kind of powers that they have over the regular man, and they would have like these philosophical debates on what's going on and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I got into my head that I wanted to use these two authors
Yeah.
that I love, and I made my own, or I came up with a story of them as the main characters. And so
Oh yeah.
the it's going to be a these two characters, or these two real people. They get
Yeah.
together and they want to reincarnate or bring back from the dead their favorite author, who is Edgar Allan
Yeah.
Poe. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what they're going through. And I have in
Oh, that's
here.
awesome, man.
I don't know if you know the story of how. I don't think it's still going on, but there was a guy for
Hmm.
like 50 years. So he would go to
Yep.
Edgar Allan Poe's gravesite, and in the middle of the night, like
Hmm.
12 o'clock or whatever, and he would leave 3 roses for Edgar and his wife and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So they kind of
Yeah.
sneak in there, and I don't want to give up too much because I'm still
Dude, this
coloring
looks
it. And
awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
I
thanks,
love it. I
thanks.
love it. I got to see. What is it
Yeah,
called then?
I'm, I think it's 1900s horror. I think that's what it's going to be
Hmm.
called. So
Okay.
hopefully within the next month
Yeah.
or so. It's been a long project
Yeah.
because been lots of hurdles and
Well,
stuff, but
right. But it's looking really good. How are you coloring it?
digitally.
Okay.
That's the only thing I do digitally.
Hmm.
Do you draw digitally
Hmm.
as well?
Yeah. So usually, well, I kind of go back and forth. I do still really love the feel of the real pencil on the
Right,
paper,
right. So
So a lot
what
of
did you do with
times,
this?
yeah. Yeah, so this is funny actually because I would while I was working at this school, every once in a while I would just take like a computer printout paper and just sketch on there and do like a little crazy drawing of this Battlestar Barbarian, which his
Yeah.
name is Battlestar Barbarian, by the way. I
Okay,
remember
that's
you
cool.
were
I was
you were
wondering
wondering
about
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And so then they would just be these little loose, little A4
Yeah.
pieces of printer paper with covered with dirty pencils, and then I would just take pictures of those and just send them to Stefan, and then he would build the page with Procreate, and then
Oh,
then he
okay.
would ink on top of it. So it was a combination of just like hand drawn with digital inks.
So do you have
um,
some of those pages we could see?
I do. I don't know if I can see them. I was looking around, because we moved in July, and I
Yeah.
still have to kind of go through things, and I know they're somewhere. I got to find them. But like in the end of that book that you got there, there's the cover pencils. You can kind of
Oh,
see
right. Yep.
for
Yep.
issue 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so like they all kind of look like that. Like yeah. So
Right. Right.
on to the left. Yeah, yeah. So that's just like a loose A4 sheet of paper. I drew that on. Um,
Yeah,
And
yeah. Do you like
yeah.
working on, so is that how you normally
Mhm.
work, or do you normally work to Procreate, or work bigger,
Right.
or
Yeah, so then, originally, like, yeah, I was always, the Bristol board is it. That's you got the
yeah,
page and it's all
yeah,
happening there and it's you gotta hold it and
yeah,
and I used to be that way for a long time. And then it was right around when COVID hit that I started to use Procreate, and it took me a long time to get used to that pen stylus,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
and eventually I would just do little things and I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll ink a little bit or I'll color a little bit, but I can't really draw on it. And eventually it kind of came to a point where then I was just like drawing the rough pencils like I did with Steph, and I would just draw a rough, pencil panel and then scan it and put it into Procreate, and then put it into a page on Procreate. So I would have all of these just panels all over the place, and then that were hand drawn, and then just throw them into Procreate and build all my pages that way. And then I got really
right.
into like I really loved inking digitally. I think is can it can actually be really fun because you that's when you can do all the little, the stuff that
Yeah,
Stefan does, like the little duo shade stuff and
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
all
this.
that kind of like, yeah.
This was a piece
Hmm.
that I did, and then
Yeah.
he inked over, which is it's just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
The little line works and stuff that he
Yep.
does.
Yep. Absolutely. I wonder if that's a Canadian thing, because it's McFarlane
Maybe.
and Rex Seidler. Like they're so good at like those little, those tiny
Yeah,
little lines.
yeah, yeah,
It's
definitely.
just it's like a feast for the eyes. So
Um, is this your first comic book?
no, so I've done man, so do
Right,
you
right,
remember
right.
Zuda? You remember Zuda comics?
No.
Okay, so this was like maybe, geez, it's like 15 years, maybe close to 20 years ago now. It was DC Comics did a web comic initiative, and they
Oh,
would have contests. They would have contests every month, and you could just submit comics to them, and then they had like a basically a page that hosted web comics, and then all the people that were coming from the DC Comics website and message boards and stuff, they would go over to Zuda, and then they would vote on the comics, and then if you won you would get a contract through DC Comics, and they would pay you to do like 60 screens of a comic, you know
cool, cool.
and so that was one of the first things I did. I
So you
got
won?
together. So I worked on this comic with two other guys that were also competing on there, and one guy was like in Norway, another guy was in Philadelphia. I was working in China, and we would send things around, back and forth. And so this guy wrote the script, and I drew the pencils, and we made this comic called The Hammer, which you can still find out there. And it is technically published by DC Comics because we won the competition that month,
Is it
and we did
digital
60
only?
screens. So it was a digital only comic. Yep.
Yeah.
But I think you would like it. I'll send you a link to it because it's called The Hammer, and it's like Sin City, but it's starring a pink bunny rabbit.
That's cool. That's
So
cool. That
yeah,
sounds a little Grant Morrison-ish too. Um,
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
So that was the
So
first thing, and then I've done a bunch of indie books and stuff after that, and
so
um,
do you own the rights to it? Can you print it? What's the deal with that?
yeah. So for a long time, DC had the rights. I think it's still, if you go to Amazon and look it up, it's still like says published by DC Comics, and you're basically buying it from DC Comics when you
Right,
download it. But
right.
but I think technically the rights might go to the writer. What his name was, Sam Little.
Mm,
But I'm not sure because there was four of us working on it, and we
yeah,
never really. I mean, we signed a contract with DC, but
yeah.
after that, like nobody really followed up and been like, what's going on with this? Who owns it? So
Right, right,
it'd be
right.
interesting to find out.
Right. So
Um,
did you work more for
yeah.
DC after that?
No, so that was the thing. We won that contest, and I was in a couple other contests with them too, and I went to San Diego Comic Con. I got to sit at the DC Comics table. Like nobody
Oh,
knew who I was,
the
but I
cream
but I
dream.
was like, Yep, I was just like sketching like next to all these great artists and like nobody knew who I was, and I was like, "This is it. I made it. I'm a comic book artist now. This is everything's gonna be easy now." And then
Yeah,
from then
yeah,
on I realized like, "Oh, okay." I got that was just like a really lucky little flash in the pan moment, and
right.
the real comic stuff is hard work, and it's you got to do it for the love. So
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
that's what
definitely.
I've been doing. I've been working for schools like art teaching and stuff, and I did graphic design, anything I could do to make money so that I could still draw comics. That's what I've been
Right,
doing the last
right,
20 years. Yeah.
right,
So
right. So when you grew up, did you want to be a
mhm.
penciler, or were you like, I want to be an inker,
Yeah,
or you know?
yeah. I have always wanted to be a comic book artist, either penciling or inking. Um, I it wasn't even until recently that I mean, I used to pray. I used to pray to God, like, please don't make me a comic book writer. You know, because I've always felt like the pencilers and the inkers had all the fun, but
Yeah,
but
yeah,
as I've gotten older, I realized like no, that actually writing is really fun too. So I've changed my mind about that, but I
right.
think if you're like Gabe, we want you to write this comic or we want you to draw this comic, I'm still going to go to drawing. I think that's still my first love, I guess. But
Yeah, it's so
yeah.
hard because I grew up wanting to be a penciler. Like I didn't want to ink or
Mhm.
anything. I wanted to pencil, and that was basically it. And then I guess
Yeah.
I kind of like after Q*berts, I guess I just realized that that's really not what I wanted to do. I wanted to create my own characters, my own stories. As much as I would have loved to have worked with, whatever fantastic writer, I was wanted to be the
Yeah.
one to control the creative side. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a hard thing to come to terms with, I guess, of where you
Mhm.
want your path to be and to try to
Yeah.
get your path there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's one thing I wanted to ask you about actually, because I remember so you're kind of like the originator of like power comics, right?
Power Comics. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
originator, but I was definitely in the realm of Power Comics, which there is
Yeah.
still a it's very nebulous. Like people don't
Hmm.
really know what exactly a power comic is because a lot of people,
Hmm.
it's not good art. And who wants to
Mm.
be known as not a good artist? Nobody. And like, why would anyone want that? But at the same
uh,
time, people really appreciate it and love it, and they don't say not good art. They say
right.
something like you're not aware of your abilities or whatever it is. And so it's
It's
I think somewhere down the line we have to really nail down what power comics are, because I don't
yeah.
think it's a skill level.
No, no, no. I don't think so at all. I think it's like it's all passion, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's everything I've seen you do, and all the I think I first became aware of this idea of power comics was cartoonist kayfabe, I think,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think I remember hearing your name too. They talked about you, right?
I don't
And
remember being mentioned on I'll have to go back and
there,
look at every episode now.
there was there was something because I remember when I saw your name pop up and I was like, oh yeah, I remember cartoonist kayfabe mentioned, maybe it was Jim
Yeah,
Rugg or Piscor or
yeah,
what, but it's
yeah,
somebody there was some like way of directing me to power comics, and then I was like, oh man, so this is like a whole like it's almost like ninja movies or something, it's like
yeah, yeah.
it's like this it's like this subgenre, but like really passionate people making like super awesome stuff. And
Right, right.
it's not mainstream style, but like I never really liked mainstream style to begin with,
Right, right.
like
Well, it's like I
like
was saying about Evil Dead 2 and how my wife watched it and
Mhm.
she hated it. That's
Right.
how, some people could look at power comics. And that's really what I
Mhm.
thought that they were taught. They were like, it's the B movies of comic books, which,
Mhm.
when I first, because there's a channel, the Power Comics channel, and I
Yeah.
went on there and I was like,
Mhm.
um, the first thing I contacted them because I didn't have chance to watch the whole video, but I knew that they were reviewing
Mhm.
my comic Mutandis, that I did
Yeah,
back in '92, and I said to him,
man.
um, I said to him, "I haven't had a chance to watch your video yet, but you better said nice things, or I'm going to come burn your house down." So,
Right.
but they weren't. They were very cool. They loved it and
Yeah.
stuff. So, and it was not like making fun of stuff. It's like when we talk about Evil
Mhm.
Dead. It's like I said, we
Mhm.
we talk about it from a position of love. We don't talk about it
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's this B movie.
Oh, exactly, and it is also, like, I mean, it's kinda like we were talking about, like, handwriting too, right? It's
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know, you, Alex, have a very unique style, and it's instantly yours, and when I see it, I can recognize it, and I can say,
yeah,
"That's Alex," and that's the kinda stuff I've always loved, like, so
right,
if you have a question of, like, who's your favorite artist, it's, like, people that do that,
right,
like
right.
Keith Giffen, Keith Giffen, you
Yeah,
always knew that
yep,
was Keith Giffen, right?
yep.
Um, Stuff like that,
I
so
love Keith
I'm
Giffen.
a huge fan of that. Oh,
Yeah,
Keith Giffen
yeah,
is the best, man. That's another thing, like, Bisley gets so much credit, but man Giffen was doing all those layouts, and he was writing a lot of the jokes, and,
yeah.
he
And
he
he
kinda
was
gets
he
Mhm,
not only did the Lobo stuff, but he was like doing
mhm.
the Justice League stuff and the
Yep,
Legionnaires, and he did so many different things. And it was like he
yep,
had such a morphing his artwork. Like he would do
mhm,
one thing and it would look a little bit like oh, who did the JL Justice League stuff? Oh, I can't remember.
yeah,
But it would
I
look a
know what you're
little bit
talking
like
about.
that, and then he would do some
Mhm,
like he did Lobo, and he kind of
yep,
put the Simon Bisley style into his stuff,
yep,
so he could really
mhm,
change how he looked. And
yeah,
I don't think it was from a negative standpoint. I
mhm.
think it was like a he enjoyed it, so he wanted to
Yeah.
join in the fun or whatever. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
I think, he was kind of like how Gary Oldman is or something, right? Like,
Yeah,
he could just totally be a chameleon and just change up his style to whatever it was needed, and,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was cool. Like, his Doctor Fate, did you ever see his Doctor Fate miniseries?
Yep,
Um,
yep. I think I
yeah,
have
that
some.
stuff is so different too, right? Because it's all, like, super flat and really thick lines,
Right, right.
um and then you see Trencher and you're like, "Holy crap, this is the same guy," but you still know it's him. Somehow it's like it's
Yeah,
still got
yeah,
that Keith Giffen flav?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I that's why I don't sign any of my stuff just because I think,
Mhm.
hey, if people know that, they're gonna know it's me. It's pretty,
Right.
that
Yeah.
is the signature pretty much.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
man.
so
We didn't even get to
how
talk about
much
Gru yet, though,
uh
Alex.
I maybe you'll have to come back. Maybe you'll have to come back on, because there's definitely a lot of grooveness in this.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm so glad that you
whenever
noticed
I
that.
see, whenever I this right here, when I saw that,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's Gru.
Yep.
That's Sergio Aragon's right there doing his grooveness,
Yep.
and that
Yep.
especially this
Yep.
this here right here is
And he's
fantastic.
another
Which
guy too, I think. Yep. Yeah, like Sergio's stuff is like, some people in the comic book world are just like, "Oh, this is super cartoony. This is like that." But they don't realize, like, if you really look at his artwork, like, that dude can draw. Like,
yeah,
he
yeah,
is like master level draftsman.
yeah,
Um
yeah,
and but you have to, like, really look at it, and then, like, all those splash pages are just like, the beginning of each Gru is just like, oh my god.
yeah, yeah. And every
Looks
time
like
you open
it's
it, you can look at another inch or whatever, and be
Mhm.
like, oh my
Yep.
god, that's in there too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Exactly. Like his do you ever see, like, the Gru Chronicles when they collected it all, and it was like 5 issues or something? And he did, like, this cover border on each issue, but every issue, like, if you just looked at it not too closely, you'd be like, "Oh, that's cool." It's like, a crowd of people. But then if you look at each issue, you're like, "Oh, no, the people are doing different things in the
Right. Yeah.
border
Yeah.
around the main illustration."
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like a
It's just
Where's
insane.
Waldo of awesome art.
Yes. Yep, yep. Totally.
So,
Yeah.
um, where do you think you're headed with Battlestar? Do you have like an ambition for so many issues, or
Mhm.
a main storyline, or anything
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. We do have a lot of ideas, and I was gonna show you on my phone. Oh, I am using my phone right now. Let's see if I
Mhm.
can get out of here. But we were scripting the comic because we want to do like a 4 issue series basically, and we have ideas at different stages, and but we're really starting now to like really put things together,
Do you
and
have
we
like
have
a
this
do you have like
message.
a main
Mhm.
do you have like a main story arc that you want to get to with
Yeah.
over like 10 issues,
Yep.
and then, or do
Yep.
you see
Yep.
this going on forever?
Well, so I'm a big fan of like the 4 issue stories that can be collected into like one graphic novel, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So I would love this to be like, yeah, like 4 issue stories that just keep going on forever, you know.
yeah,
But this original story is definitely 4 issues, and it will wrap up, but it will leave it open for more
yeah,
adventures, just like
right,
every
right.
Conan story, right? But we're gonna do like, so there's gonna be a villain that's
Yeah,
gonna be super awesome.
yeah, yeah,
That's all I'll say about that.
yeah,
The baby, his son, the little Battlestar Barbarian.
yeah.
We started to call him Batty. So like how Conan had a son named Khan,
Right.
you know, and so Battlestar, his son is named Batty because it's like Battlestar. So
Yep.
so he's gonna grow into like a giant kaiju baby monster, and
Awesome.
we're gonna have all kinds, like we want to amp up. It seems like most people that are enjoying this, they really love the space stuff. And that's kind of what we said. Like Stefan even said that the other night. He was like, "This is Evil Dead 2 Conan in space."
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know and I was like, that's it, that's our elevator pitch,
yeah.
and so we want to keep pushing up the space stuff and do like a lot of like Star Wars references and things, and just
Great.
spaceship battles and things too. We're gonna
Is the
just
is the
really
name
start to amp up.
is the name Battlestar? Is that any kind of
Mhm.
reference to Battlestar Galactica or anything like that?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think so. It is, and but it's also just sounds really cool too,
it
right?
does. It does.
Battlestar.
It does.
And we want him to have like a star necklace eventually too.
Yeah,
So it'll be like,
yeah.
um,
Very, very,
but yeah,
very
it's gonna
cool.
be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
fun. It's been great. I mean, people have been so awesome, just, and especially like, I gotta thank you again, man. Like, since you started putting your videos up, like I'm just getting random people messaging me now
yeah,
being like, I
yeah.
need
No
this
problem.
book. I need this in
Yeah,
my life.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so
Definitely. Um,
it's been great. Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of that, you're Stefan is shipping to Canada, and you're shipping to the
Mhm.
United States. Who ships to
Yep.
other parts of the world? I assume you're getting requests from,
Mhm. Yep.
the
Yeah,
UK and Australia.
we got somebody from France, we got a couple from Australia. I've been shipping those. We've been kind of just splitting it up, like, whoever. If
Yeah,
somebody asks me and they're from Australia, I'll ship it to them. If somebody asks, Stefan, and they're from Germany, he'll probably ship it to Germany. So we will
right.
ship everywhere. We do not
Yeah.
discriminate. We love all
Yeah.
countries.
I just got done doing my my Morgram Kickstarter,
Yeah.
and I have like 5 or
Yeah.
6 people to other countries, and it
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Because, especially because I have this bus that I'm adding to it, and
Yes.
this is like
Oh man, that's awesome.
almost a pound by itself. So it's like
Wow.
30 bucks, 30, 40 bucks to ship it to Australia. So that kind of
Look
blows,
at
but
those
you know.
nips. Yeah.
So,
That's awesome
yeah,
though. So did you make that, or what? How did you get
yeah,
this?
yeah. I
You
sculpted
made
this,
that.
and then, yeah,
Oh
and then
man. Is that
everyone,
super sculpty?
yep. Well, it's regular Sculpey. I'm not
Yeah.
professional enough to use the Super Sculpey.
That's super cool. So
Yeah.
you did that stuff when you were in Kubert school then, right? The
What
the
stuff?
Sculpey stuff? The Sculpey
No,
stuff.
no. That's
No? Oh.
Hubert is only comic books.
But so like you didn't have any classes where they show like because that was one thing about SCAD. It was like we had to build all these things out of Sculpey and then draw them.
I was kind of wondering that, and I was gonna ask some other people
Hmm.
that had been to art schools if they had
Yeah.
sculpting classes
Yeah.
and stuff, or if it was just
Hmm.
painting and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But no, I've never really, other than like high school and stuff, I haven't had any kind of, um,
So
you know, stuff like
really, man,
that.
that's just like self-taught sculpting. Can I see it again?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
want to see it again.
I
It's
actually think
so
I'm a better
freaking cool.
sculptor than comic book artist, which makes me sad, but it is what it is.
No, no. No, no, I think you're equally good, man. But it's just so cool to see something, like something from the page in 3D is always just super exciting.
Right,
Um,
right, right. Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
cool.
definitely, definitely. Um,
Was he kind of based on like that guy from Krull?
yeah, that's well,
Yeah,
um, Morgrim is basically that guy because I really
yeah,
like flipped and flopped. I was like a Cyclops because I really
yeah.
wanted to do a Conan ripoff, kind of like
Hmm.
Battlestar, um,
Yep.
but not a ripoff, but an homage. And
Right.
but I was like, oh,
Yes, that's a
it's
nicer way
got
of
to
saying
have a little bit of a twist. It can't
it.
just be
Hmm.
Conan because there's so many Conans out there. And then I was like,
Hmm.
what's everyone's favorite part of Krull? It's the
Yeah.
Cyclops,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
maybe it's because
Have
he
you
has a
seen?
tragic ending, but
Yeah, true. He was awesome. But have you? I just saw this recently. I think it was on Instagram. It was they were showing the scene where he first meets somebody and he like puts his hand out to shake the hand. Did you see this thing?
no.
So you got to go back and look at the movie, and so when they first, I can't remember who it is. Maybe it's the main character. They introduce each other to him, but he holds out his hand, and they said if you look closely, you can tell like the actor can't see where the other guy is because he's got the mask on. You know,
Right,
so
right.
his hand is kind of like wavering, and it's like oh there it is. So it's a nice little Easter egg to look for when you're watching Crawl. But that movie is awesome. I love
It
that
is.
movie.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm hoping you know about the Random Access 50th issue, right? With the
Mm.
it's an 80s movie theme. You haven't
Oh,
been
no, I haven't heard about
privy
this.
to that yet. Where I
Yeah.
have actually a video that Jay Quirk made, who's a fantastic artist.
Mhm.
That I'm going to be
Yep.
pushing a little bit because the 50th is on in December, the 50th issue,
Okay.
and I'm just going to try to get everybody to just do whatever 80s movie thing that they like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a Dark Crystal thing, but there's
Oh,
like
nice.
so many people. I know somebody in the chat we're in. They're going to do a
Mhm.
Mission Impossible kind of thing.
Yes.
And
Yep.
everybody's just doing all of these different 80s things
Okay.
because, yeah,
I have to be part of this. Who do I
yeah.
have to kill to be part of this?
I would love I would love you to be
Okay.
part of it.
All right.
But
All right.
I'm going to start
Awesome.
pushing it a little bit more. I'm still cranking out, these Kickstarters, to other people.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
But it's been an hour, and I try to keep it
Mhm.
at an hour before people
Yeah.
start to wander off and stuff. But I would love
Right.
for you to come back and talk about more stuff because, like, we
Yeah.
could talk about this kind of stuff forever. I feel like
Oh, I know. We barely scratched the surface,
I
Alex. We
know,
gotta. We have to talk more.
I know.
So we could just do a
But
whole episode on Crawl.
I know, I know. I love Crawl so much, and I think
Yeah.
I think they're remaking it. That was why, like I said in the chat
Mhm.
the other day, has there ever been a
Mhm.
remake that has been, worth a
Mm.
damn? And there are a
Yeah.
few, The Thing, and
Yeah.
somebody said,
Yeah.
what did somebody else? Cape Fear.
It's
They
very
said
few. Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
super far and few between. Like there's
Yeah.
so many movies that I love. Flash Gordon, Tiki
Yes.
Wakatiki is going to redo it, and I'm
Yeah.
so scared. I'm so nervous.
Yeah. I
He could
know. I
ruin it.
know. And that's another great example of I think Flash Gordon is like a power pulp comic, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
It
it's
definitely is.
like it's on one hand it's like totally ridiculous and crazy and wild, but like the people who made that movie, like they were serious. Like they were like, we're gonna make an
Yeah,
awesome Flash Gordon movie. And they weren't like there was humor in that, but they weren't like it wasn't tongue in cheek too much, or it wasn't like winking at
Yeah,
the audience, you know? It
yeah,
was like
yeah,
it was just like it was unintentionally hilarious sometimes, but it was awesome other times, and that's what I'm worried about with Taiki taking over
yeah,
Flash Gordon too, because
yeah, me
it's
too,
going
me
to be
too.
like it is going to be a lot of like
Yeah, yeah,
winking stuff,
unfortunately.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
too much
so
love and thunder. Yeah,
yeah, right, right. So we
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want that.
yeah. But anyway, thanks for joining me. I,
Yes,
had a great time, and, like I said, I hope
yeah,
you'll,
me too.
think about coming back, and, we could talk about
Yeah.
some more awesome stuff.
Yes, yes,
And,
thank you. Yeah,
yep, yep.
yep. Keep the orders coming, everybody. If you want more
Yeah.
Battlestar Barbarian,
Yeah,
keep getting them.
I'll put your Instagram links and stuff,
Yep.
and that's another thing we gotta talk about, this
Hmm.
how you're moving forward with,
Yeah.
selling more stuff and all of that stuff. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, thanks
Yep.
for joining us,
Until next
and,
time.
yep,
Hmm.
till next time. Thanks a lot.
All right. All right. Thanks, Alex. Adios.